So I just got done shooting my first ever Spec ad, and I would say it went pretty well. I'm going to be explaining the pre-production, the production, and the post-production. So for the pre-production, there's a few key things that needed to happen. I needed to come up with an idea. I needed to create a storyboard. I really liked the idea of creating kind of a mock sequence in Premiere. That way I could visualize it with the audio and everything. And I also just needed to write some notes about things that I would remember when I was on location. So breaking it down, coming up with an idea, I wanted something that was kind of fast-paced, and I really wanted to get something that had some sort of storyline. That is really something that I struggle with, is kind of telling a story. Like, I'm a very big images person. I love focusing on the images and making sure that everything looks good, that I forget about the emotion, the story, and everything like that. So I wanted to at least attempt to get a little bit of a story in there, and I would say I succeeded partly, because when you're focusing on a story, it comes down to four things. It is a question. There should be a question that immediately your viewer knows what the main character is trying to get to. The second thing is a background, which my advertisement did not have. The third thing is kind of the struggle, which was in the advertisement. It was him just missing all of his shots and things like that. And the last thing is the success. If you have all of these four things well laid out in that order, then you'll have a very good video. So the next thing is storyboarding. You guys can see that. That's just kind of an example. So I kind of just wanted to create a storyboard of like each of the shots. That way I could get a good feel for it. And so I kind of planned certain shots out. When I was planning these shots out, I just kind of made sure to think about like not having too many wide shots in a row, not having too many close-ups. And I also tried to focus on getting a few things that can only be done on set. One of those was actually the ladder shot, where he struggles with the ladders and then he throws them. Storyboarding is a huge part. It genuinely helped production just go so much smoother. Just having all the shots there and just being able to just look, okay, we're on this shot, let's do this. We're on this shot, let's do this. It just helped everything go by so much quicker. I've actually never really seen anyone do this, but I created a timeline based on the storyboard, because I had this song in mind, which is actually not the one that I used in the final Spec ad, but I had this song in mind, so I created it, I put it on a timeline, and I chopped it up, and then I cut it up, and I had words to show when the cuts would happen, blah blah blah. I then went on to FrameSet, which is a website, and I took some frames to put there to kind of help me placehold, because my storyboard, the drawings were not very good. Then I actually went onto YouTube, found some videos similar to mine, and I just chopped up some of their shots just to help me get a feel for it, because I'm a very visual person, and I really struggle with planning if I can't kind of see it all come together. If it's just a ton of little pieces, my brain just can't really process that. And then the final thing was actually writing some notes of things to remember on the set, which really did help me, because there's just certain things, because when I film, I kind of go into go mode, and my brain, I don't really think of anything. All I think about is just like film, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. Now we're on to production. The first thing I'm going to give you guys is just camera setup. I had Sony a7 IV on a rig, so with a monitor, V-mount, all of that. And then that was running the Sigma 24-70 with a Tiffin Black Pro Mist 1/8 filter. So the second camera was the Sony a7 IV. It's my friend's, and he let us borrow it, and that had the Sony 12-24 G Master, and that was on the RS2, the Ronin gimbal, and that was for kind of the dolly in of when he was sitting on the bench and the opening scene. They kind of just stayed separate. I didn't really ever switch lenses for behind the scenes. It was a Sony a7 III with another Sigma 24-70. So I actually did bring a ton of equipment, but I just wanted to highlight a few things. One of them was a tripod. Obviously we needed a tripod. And then I did bring a reflector just in case I wanted to shoot up at the lights and I wanted to reflect the light. I didn't end up using it, but I did bring it just in case, and I think it's something that can help. So now we're on to post-production, and this is kind of the editing and the sifting through the clips. It was actually very, very easy. I just used that original timeline I had made. First thing I did is I got home, imported the footage, and then I just created a one-to-one of the storyboard, perfectly identical, all the shots we had gotten, plus there's like maybe a few extra. Like I think I threw one of him getting ready because it just really highlighted the Under Armour logo. But it was basically just a one-to-one with the music and everything, and you know, I liked it. I didn't love it. And this kind of is a segue into the next part of this video, which was changing it. And I liked it originally, but I just didn't love it. Like, I wasn't super proud of it. I thought the beginning was just shots of him not doing well. Audio didn't really show that or make you feel that. It was kind of just like him not doing well with cool music, if that makes sense. I didn't really feel the emotion, which is honestly one of the biggest things I'm working on and I struggle with, is the audio and telling a story and bringing the emotion into the video rather than just having good images, like pleasing images. I was just really struggling trying to blend two audios together or find two different ones. So I watched a couple of Under Armour's like advertisements, and they kind of just use risers in the beginning, and a riser is something that slowly gets louder to kind of build tension. So I thought, alright, let me try that. So I tried a riser, and that's kind of what led me into the second Spec advertisement, which I will show you guys right now.
The key with me is no one will outwork me. No one.
I just felt like that worked a little better, and I also found the audio, but it was a little bit of a struggle, and so I added that in, chopped up the clips. It's kind of very similar to the first one, like the order of everything, but I just felt like it displayed the emotion a little bit better, kind of showing him getting angry, showing him struggling. So I just completely switched, and I decided to go with that one. I loved how it kind of like took a breath, like right before it started to get crazy. It just shows him kind of making that first shot, because he was just struggling and he couldn't make a single shot. I am a little bit curious. So the first Spec ad that I did, which was the storyboard kind of one-to-one, obviously it doesn't have sound design, so it might be a little bit worse in that aspect, but I'm curious as to if you guys think the first one is better or the second one is better, or just like which one you like more. And maybe just drop a comment explaining which one you like more or why you like it more. Maybe you think the pacing of the first one was better. Like, some of the people I've showed it to said they liked the first one because it's slower, but it's actually crazy because it's only 1 second slower, but it feels a lot slower. So just put down in the comments which one you think you liked more. Finally, what I would do next time. Had a set of notes on the iPad of just important things, because, you know, when I'm filming my brain just kind of shuts off. And I think the first one was make sure you get the Under Armour logo, which I forgot. I forgot to get the Under Armour logo on an Under Armour Spec ad. So that was definitely something that I need to focus on. And luckily in the first opening shot, the Under Armour logo was kind of right there front and center. It just sounds so dumb because it's like I missed kind of like the whole point of the video. That's why it's important to, you know, just have a few notes and make sure you're looking at them. Another thing that's kind of a little bit more technical is when the beat drops, I should have overcranked the shutter. And what I mean by that is normally when you're filming at like 24 frames per second, the shutter should be 1/50. It should be double your frame rate. But if you crank the shutter a little bit, it'll kind of make it a little more shaky and it's a little bit more high energy and more intense. The reason I didn't do that was because I had my settings set perfectly. If I would have cranked the shutter up a little bit, it would have caused it to be too dark and all these things. So I wish I could have somehow maybe controlled the lights a little better and added a little more dimension. And if you notice in a lot of the shots, I did backlight it, and I would shoot up into the lights, which helped. And then the last thing would just be to get extra shots, because I was kind of cutting it close, and I think I got like 2 or 3 extra shots, and I know I used at least 2 of them. So maybe just getting a few extra shots just in case you do want to change the direction after, which is exactly what I did. If you have that extra time, just get a few extra shots. So overall, I am very pleased with this ad. I think it did turn out well, and I think it really helped me just practice getting better, practice my audio, practice my pacing and things like that. And something that was super important to me was just not being okay with just like good enough. Like, I thought the first video I was like, this is good enough, but I thought I'm gonna make it better. So taking that extra time, like I never even would have probably done any of this extra stuff, like this audio design. I would have just said, okay, this is good enough. My goal is to get maybe 2 or 3 more in the summer, 2 or 3 more Spec ads. But I do want to say thank you to Marcel. He was there helping us. Thank you to Jacob, and thank you to Dane. Jacob, he was filming BTS, or he was on the iPad, and then Dane was the actual actor. So thank you to you guys for helping me. None of this could have been possible without you guys. I'm gonna try and post more YouTube videos, hopefully educating and kind of showing just the process, because I know that I would love seeing a video like this and it kind of explaining certain things, like little quirks. Like, I'm kind of rambling on, but yeah, I would say the video turned out well, and I just want to thank you guys for watching. And I know this video might be a little long, but thank you guys, seriously.